Good morning. I hope everyone's well after a good night's sleep and is ready to attack Tuesday, whatever that means for you as you stay at home and practice good social distancing and be safe in these days, especially when things are going to start wrapping up here, according to all the reports about the effects we're going to see of this virus on our country over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So everybody be careful. Now, one of the things people are doing as they're quarantining is they're taking walks. They're just taking a walk by yourself or taking a walk with your wife or with your kids or as families. And when you take a walk, a lot of times your mind goes to a broad range of topics. Our next psalm is Psalm 127, and it's a psalm about security and God. And this just really shows the broad range of topics that these pilgrims would think about and consider as they were moving from where they lived to Jerusalem to celebrate the feast, and all the broad range of topics, that the Lord affects in their life, which is all of them, but they would think about these things and consciously so that their heart would be ready to give these things over to God when they got to the city, when they got to the temple, when they came to worship, and they would be able to present their whole life to God as worship. And the first thing this psalm, it's a wisdom psalm, and it's directed at parents, and it's talking about unless the Lord builds whatever you're building, your house, your future, unless the Lord builds it, it's in vain. You can't protect it. You can't establish it. Is it even worth building unless the Lord builds it? That's the point of Psalm 127. It's written by Solomon and one of 4 written by him in these Psalms of Ascension. And it deals specifically with domestic or everyday or family life. So let's read it. The tag is, in the ESV, is unless the Lord builds the house. And this, unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain. It is vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil, for he gives to his beloved sleep. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them. He shall not be put to shame when he speaks with his enemies in the gate. Now, the first 2 verses, 3 times the word vain is used. It's a futile attempt. So the number one primary thing on this is all human labor is in vain unless the Lord is the one building, unless it's all up to God, unless it's Lord building through you, using your efforts to build. The Lord is not only involved, he is the foundation, and he is what the thing's built on. Whatever you're building is a city, a family, a household. Now, the other part of this is as he moves to the individual who works in verse 2, he says, the one who labors in this and labors with the Lord, and the Lord is building it, he has peace, he has rest. He builds, the Lord is involved, the Lord's at the center of it, and then he has the ability to rest, security, to not be frenetic, panicked, anxious. The Lord has built this, the Lord secures it. And the picture of that is over them as a nation and over them as individuals in their households. And so he next moves in verses 3 through 5 to children and talks about they are a providential gift from God. They are the security of the future. So whether you're a people or a household, the security of the future is in the children, and not just having them, but children with the things of God built into them. So the idea is this journey that they're moving on is not just for them. It's for them to pass down the significance of this journey to their children about the importance of the things of God in their life as a people, as a nation, but in them as individual families. And it's this is the center, the core of what they do is build their life around the things of God. So much so they would structure their whole life to take these trips, to take these journeys, which is a significant endeavor, to the city to worship God at God's appointed times, because this was important to them and for their future, for building the things of God into their children. So, now that's major. Is it any wonder that the power of the church wanes in the world and it's less secure in the world? With the less parents emphasize the role of God in the life of their children, not just in word, but in actually scheduling their life around the things of God. Not all these other things we schedule it around. Ball, extracurricular activities. But scheduling and orienting your life around the things of God. Family worship, church, talking about the things of God as much as you talk about the latest TV show or the gossip, or more though so than all that. That's building the things of God into your children. And that's where your security comes from, and where God builds the children. And that's the security. The future is on God building what you have, but Him securing your future by being built into your children. That is the idea. And we do this amid a culture that devalues children. We abort 3,000 a day. They're an inconvenience or a convenience. It depends on your mindset whether you want them or not. They're not seen as a gift from God, as a precious gift from God. They're disposable. That's our culture. Christians, we build into our children the things of God, and that is our security, not just for our church, but for our families, not just for a certain life, but for the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ to go forward, because this is built into our children as a priority. So all of these things are involved in this, and we can't lose sight of the bigger picture of what God's doing in our families and in our lives and through His church. So take this time that we're going through, if you're a parent or a grandparent, to build into your children and grandchildren the importance of the things of God, because we have clear evidence that the things of men will fail. And the only people who are resting easy at night during all this are the people whose lives are built around the things of God. I hope that encourages you today. Gives you a little motivation, but encourages you. And this is another step up as we consider getting our lives oriented, not around the distresses of the world, but around the things of God. I hope you have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.